They found him sitting still, eyes open, yet lifeless, surrounded by hundreds of handwritten notes, drawings, and a locked box labeled redemption. What started as a common habit had spiraled into an obsession that no one saw coming. In today's deep dive, we unravel one of the most unsettling psychological spirals recorded in modern times. It begins with a habit so common it's often ignored or even joked about. But what happens when a simple act becomes an all-consuming addiction? We'll trace this disturbing path through one man's tragic story, connected to historical and scientific insights, and present real-life case studies that uncover the hidden dangers of compulsive masturbation. Finally, we reveal how individuals have reclaimed their minds and lives from the shadows. Daniel M. was a promising young architect living in Birmingham. Known for his meticulous work, friendly charisma, and seemingly perfect life, no one suspected what haunted him behind closed doors. At 28, Daniel withdrew from friends and stopped taking client calls. He lost interest in his career, sleep patterns became erratic, and he began avoiding sunlight. His mother described him as fading away day by day. When he died by overdose at 30, investigators initially suspected depression or substance abuse. But his journal told a different story. One entry, dated precisely 11 months before his death, read, "I don't know when it started controlling me. I used to do it once a week. Now it's 5 times a day. Porn is just background noise now. I feel nothing afterward. No guilt, no satisfaction, just emptiness." The autopsy revealed no illicit drugs, only a toxic dose of sleeping pills. The mystery wasn't what killed him, it was why. Daniel's case isn't unique. In forums, clinics, and anonymous helplines around the world, stories like his echo in silence. And they're growing. To understand the depths of this issue, let's step back in time. Case Study 1. The Monastery Files. 1873. Brother Elias was a novice in a secluded monastery near Bucharest. Church records refer to him as a brilliant spiritual disciple who began experiencing night terrors and internal temptations. Fellow monks noted that Elias would often wake screaming and fast excessively. He confessed to sins of the flesh, which they believed had invited spiritual torment. In his final written confession, he wrote, "I have fractured my covenant. My soul is choked with shame. I am no longer whole." While the monks saw demonic possession, historians and psychologists today interpret it as compulsive masturbation triggered by intense guilt and isolation. The behavior became obsessive, and Elias experienced psychotic symptoms, often attributed to spiritual attacks. Case Study 2. The Webcam Diaries. 2009. Amy was a university student in the UK who sought therapy after experiencing severe emotional numbness. She described herself as a high achiever and fitness enthusiast. However, she developed an intense addiction to explicit webcam content. For months, she spent 4 to 5 hours daily watching live streams while engaging in compulsive behavior. She described her experience as slipping into a tunnel I couldn't escape. Clinical analysis revealed that Amy was experiencing anhedonia, a condition where the brain becomes desensitized to natural rewards. She could no longer enjoy food, music, or touch. Neurologist Dr. Sarah Kendall, who studied Amy's case, explained, "This is classic dopaminergic exhaustion. Her reward system had been hijacked by instant digital stimuli." Case Study 3. The Dark Web Trap. 2015. Jamil, a 34-year-old coder from India, stumbled into a rabbit hole of extreme content while exploring the dark web. Initially searching for thrill and novelty, he gradually needed more intense and taboo material to achieve the same stimulation. Over time, he became isolated, began hallucinating, and feared being watched. "I used to feel in control, but then the cravings began. Every time I stopped for a day or two, I felt like I was going crazy. I would shake, sweat, and snap at people." His behavior mirrored symptoms of withdrawal seen in opioid addicts. Scientific evidence. What the brain shows. Modern brain imaging confirms what these stories suggest. Masturbation addiction rewires the brain much like drug addiction. Dopamine dysregulation. Excessive stimulation leads to dopamine burnout. The brain produces less dopamine and develops a tolerance, needing more stimulus for the same pleasure. Hypofrontality, the prefrontal cortex, responsible for decision-making and impulse control, shrinks in chronic addicts. This makes resisting the urge harder over time. Erectile dysfunction in youths. A study by the University of Padua showed a 600% increase in porn-induced erectile dysfunction among men under 30 since 2001. Anxiety and social isolation. As the addiction deepens, many users report anxiety in real-world interactions, often preferring digital interactions to human connection. Daniel's final months were a blur of cycles. Wake, watch, relieve, regret, repeat. In one heartbreaking entry, he wrote, "Sometimes I just stare at myself in the mirror after. I don't recognize the man staring back. He looks hollow, like his soul checked out." Inside the locked box found beside his body, authorities discovered a collection of handwritten apology letters to his ex-girlfriend, his family, and to himself. A burned-out USB filled with porn files and bookmarks. A journal entry titled The Experiment, where he tried to quit for 90 days but relapsed on day 14. He ended that note with, "Maybe tomorrow I'll be stronger." He never got that tomorrow. Daniel's story is a cautionary tale, but also a wake-up call. The addiction many dismiss as harmless is silently impacting lives in destructive ways. And it's not just about morality or self-control. It's about understanding the neuroscience, the emotional toll, and the real damage done. But there is hope. How to reclaim control. Awareness and acceptance. Acknowledge the addiction without shame. Recognize its effects. Digital boundaries. Use site blockers. Keep screens out of bedrooms. Create tech-free zones. Cold turkey versus gradual detox. For some, abrupt quitting works. For others, reducing frequency and exposure over time yields better results. Rewiring the brain. Replace the dopamine hit with physical activity, art, journaling, or volunteering. Professional help. CBT, Cognitive Behavioral Therapy, support groups like NoFap and Reboot Nation, and accountability partners can make recovery sustainable. Spiritual and emotional healing. Mindfulness, prayer, or reconnecting with a higher purpose can anchor your transformation. Is this just an overblown moral panic? Or a silent epidemic we refuse to confront? Let us know in the comments. And if you or someone you know is struggling with this habit, remember, you are not alone, and there is a path back to light. Sometimes, the most dangerous addictions are not the loudest, they're the ones we keep locked in silence. If this story touched you, subscribe to Veil of Mystery for more mind-bending tales. Stay curious, stay brave, stay aware.